Good evening, everyone. My name is Ryan Curley. I'm the first selectman of the town of Portland, Connecticut, and the time is 6:54 p.m. And this evening, we have a public hearing on November 21st, 2023 at 6:50 p.m. And I'm going to read the legal notice of the public hearing, and then we're going to open the public hearing to public comment. So anyone in the audience who wishes to comment, or anyone who is online via Zoom can also comment as well on the public hearing. And following that public hearing, we'll have a special meeting of the Board of Selectmen, an organizational meeting that starts at 7 p.m. So this is Board of Selectmen legal notice of public hearing, November 21st, 2023 at 6:50 p.m. in the Buck Foreman Community Room at 265 Main Street, Portland, Connecticut, 06480. Pursuant to Section 506 of the Portland Town Charter, a public hearing will be held by the Board of Selectmen on Tuesday, November 21st, 2023 at 6:50 p.m. in the Buck Foreman Community Room to consider public comments and questions, both orally and in writing, on the requested use of American Rescue funds of up to $1,318,000 for critical water and infrastructure improvements. And the resolution states, now therefore be it resolved that the Board of Selectmen of the Town of Portland hereby approves the use of ARPA funds of up to $1,318,000 for critical water and sewer infrastructure improvements, and be it further resolved that the Board of Selectmen hereby approves the use of state grant funds of up to $220,000 for road improvements and reconstruction, and be it further resolved if any of the allocated ARPA funds for these projects remains available for road improvements and reconstruction, those improvements can be charged against the $1,318,000 of ARPA authorization. Public access also through Zoom link A, portlandct.org, dated November 2nd, 2023, attested Ryan J. Curley, First Selectman. So with that, we'll open this public hearing up. If there is anyone in the audience that wishes to comment, you can do so now. Is there anyone online? Nothing online. Okay, we'll give it a moment. Our Public Works Director, Ryan O'Halpin, is also here this evening, and there will be the resolution again before the Board of Selectmen at our meeting in just a few minutes. So we may talk if any of the selectmen have questions then. Ryan will be here to answer those as well. So going once more for public comment, maybe a former Board of Selectmen member has any comments. All right, and still nothing in the chat? Okay, so at 6:57, we will close the public hearing. And as I mentioned, we'll have our special meeting in just a few minutes. So thank you, everyone. Good evening, everyone. The time is 7 p.m., and I will now call this special organizational meeting of the Board of Selectmen to order. My name is Ryan Curley, and I'm the first Selectman of Portland, Connecticut, and I'd like to welcome all of our newly elected Board of Selectmen members, most of which are back, but I do want to welcome Jim Tripp, Selectman Tripp. Welcome back, and congratulations to you all. I'm looking forward to working with you all. So our first item, we'll move right on to item 2 on the agenda is a vote for Deputy First Selectman. Are there any nominations?
Yes, I nominate Mike Hernandez.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Is there any discussion on this? Seeing none, I'll call for the question. All those in favor of Michael Hernandez as Deputy First Selectman?
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries unanimously. All right. The next item is a review of our Freedom of Information meeting procedures. Now that has been provided to you. It's in your packet. Has everyone been able to review that?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. I don't think we need a motion on that. That's just something for you to be aware of and what is FOIable, and it's just good practice to know. So with that, we can move on to item 4, which is to approve the rules of procedure for Board of Selectmen meetings. Now, that is also in your packet. It is the same rules as our previous board. Nothing has been changed, but this is the time, if anyone feels that there are items that they would like to be changed, we could discuss that now, but I think it's pretty straightforward.
I'll make that motion, Ryan.
Great, thank you, Jim.
I'll second that.
Thank you both. Any discussion on this? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstention? Motion carries. Thank you all. The next item is appointments to liaisons to boards and commissions. I know Jim had texted me earlier that Parks and Recreation you'd like to be on, right, Jim?
Yeah, that, and also, having served on water and sewer,
Yep.
and I'd like to stay with that as well.
Okay. Jim Tripp to water and sewer. So Michelle put in the packet, you'll see these are the selectmen that were, this is your liaisons to the boards and commissions from the last term. So I'm not sure if anyone wishes to change. Now is the time to look at these boards and commissions and see, you know, being a liaison is an important thing. And I know in the past we've had selectmen that regularly attend meetings, and I think our last board, previous board, that was no different. And so with being a liaison comes that extended responsibility to keep up with the boards and commissions that you're assigned to, and then report back to this body so we know what's going on at all of the other boards and commissions that are actively working throughout town. So it looks like right now, currently, we do not have a liaison to the Board of Education, and I'm just wondering.
I'll take that one, right?
You would take, thank you, John.
Yeah.
That's an important one. I don't want to.
Yeah, with
not that-
everything going on, I'd like to be involved.
Perfect, okay. So, John Dillon. And, let's see, I also have you on the Conservation Commission.
And wetlands, I'll stay
Okay.
on those.
Okay, so let's just go down the list. Economic Development, Mike Pelton, you're good with that?
Yes.
Okay. Sean, did you want the library? Or
Yes,
that's just-
please. Yes.
Sean Manning, library. Anyone for the Housing Authority?
I'll take that.
You'll take that? Okay. I mean, I can put myself down on that too. But actually, I think I purposely did not put myself on because I just pop in on meetings. But okay, we'll put you on the Housing Authority. And let's see, Senior Citizens Advisory Board, they meet during the day, so I'll be that since they meet. I know most of you work. And I don't think we really need a liaison to the Zoning Board of Appeals. So, is there anything else that that you see?
So we already have Sean on the water and sewer,
Yep.
and I know Jim wants to go on there. I'll pull myself off
Okay.
on that one, but I'd like to be on the long-range capital.
Great, okay. Long Range Capital. So we have Bobby and Mike Pellin.
Yeah.
All right, so I'll just go through the list and then we can approve this as presented, okay? So John Dillon to Board of Education, John Dillon to the Conservation Commission, Mike Pelton to Economic Development, Sean Manning on the Emergency Management Advisory Board, Mike Pelton on the Housing Authority, John Dillon on Inlands and Wetlands Commission, Sean Manning on the Library Board of Directors, Bobby Hetrick and Mike Pelton on Long Range Capital, Mike Pelton on the Parks and Recreation Commission, Bobby Hetrick on Planning and Zoning. We have Ryan Curley on the Senior Citizens Advisory Board. And on Water and Sewer, we have Sean Manning and Jim Tripp. And on Youth Services, we have Mike Pelton. And I am the liaison on the Public Safety, Telecommunications, or Dispatch. And Mike Hernandez is the liaison to the Committee on Solidarity. And if anyone throughout the term wishes to become a liaison to another one.
The airline trails, airline trail, and what's the committee called for the waterfront with the new by the Tilcon?
That's the Riverfront Access Committee.
Do you need a liaison for that or no?
You're welcome to be a liaison to that. It's just not.
Is it Lou Parrott, that's the airline trail, is he on that?
Lou Parrott is on the airline trail, yep.
Well, can I take airline trail and waterfront?
Sure.
Like, can we just combine those two? I'll just do those, or.
Well, I can't combine them, but you can be the
do both?
liaison for
Okay,
both of
that's
them.
fine.
So I'll add Riverfront Access. Okay.
Yeah, and I was gonna, also, if you, I know we talked about it, but just when you ran through the list, also, please add me to Parks and Rec.
Oh, I'm sorry, Jim. Let me add that. Thank you. Jim Tripp. I just didn't write it down here. Okay. So do I have, is there any other ones?
Actually, I'd also like to be part of the Committee on Solidarity also with Mike.
Great. Thanks, Mike. Do I have if there's no more, do I have a motion to?
Well, I was gonna say, before you do that, you know, if you wouldn't mind, it's actually a good idea. If we wanted to add me in addition, if Mike doesn't mind, I'd go in addition on the Riverfront Access.
Great.
Jump in, water's warm.
That's what I'm
As
hoping.
long as there's no muscles you step on.
Well, there's actually plenty of muscles.
But they're good muscles, right?
I guess so, but they gotta be moved. Okay, and are there any other liaison positions? Okay.
I'll make a motion. We
Okay.
accept the list of liaison to town boards and commissions.
I'll second it.
Great, thank you both. I think we can take a vote on this. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. Thank you all for.
Pelton.
And Sharon, I'll give you this list after. Okay, awesome. All right, so the next item, item 6 on the agenda is a resolution, American Rescue Plan funds for water and sewer infrastructure and road improvement restoration. We did touch upon this with our public hearing, and as I mentioned, Ryan O'Halpin, our Public Works Director, is here tonight. And this is, as you may recall, this has been a long time coming. The board had previously, our previous board had allocated 1.1 million for water and sewer infrastructure improvement projects with a Co Avenue pump station and Russell Avenue water line replacement. However, once the engineering and design work came back and the bids came back, we needed more funding. And so that is why this is coming back, because we are now asking this board to approve the use of $250,000 additional of American Rescue Plan funds, which will bring the total amount of American Rescue Plan funds allocated to these two projects to $1,350,000. And there's also another $220,000 that is needed for related road improvements and restoration after that work is completed. So, is that correct, Ryan? Yes. Yeah, just want to make sure. So this is, these are expensive projects, but infrastructure is not cheap, and we need to get these done. And the good news with the projects is that Ryan has informed us that the sewer work can get done over the winter, with the water line replacement being started and completed in the spring. So we're moving ahead on these very quickly now that we have the bids and in place. So if someone would like to move the resolution and read the resolution, we could then have a discussion after.
I'll move and read it.
Thank you, Sean.
Resolution, Board of Selectmen, Town of Portland, Connecticut, November 21st, 2023. American Rescue Plan funds, water, sewer, infrastructure, and road improvements, restoration. Whereas the Town of Portland is in receipt of American Rescue Plan funds, and whereas up to $10 million of ARPA funds can be used for a wide range of expenses due to the final rule regarding revenue loss, and whereas one of the approved uses of ARPA funds is to make improvements to water and sewer infrastructure, and whereas the town has identified water and sewer infrastructure needs within its 5-year capital plan that far exceeds $1 million, and whereas $1,100,000 of American Rescue Plan Act ARPA funds was approved by the Board of Selectmen on January 5th, 2022 for critical water and sewer infrastructure improvements, including an estimated $150,000 of related road improvements, restorations, and whereas bids have been received and reviewed and the full $1,100,000 of previously allocated ARPA funds will be needed for the water and sewer improvements, as well as an additional $250,000 to complete the critical infrastructure portion of the project for a total of $1,350,000. And whereas the town will still need to restore and improve the road surface above the utilities at an additional cost, and whereas the town will likely need to use state grant funds to fund approximately $220,000 for the related road improvements, restorations. Now therefore be it resolved that the Board of Selectmen of the Town of Portland hereby approves the use of ARPA funds up to $1,350,000 for critical water and sewer infrastructure improvements, and be it further resolved that the Board of Selectmen hereby approves the use of state grant funds up to $220,000 for road improvements, reconstruction, and be it further resolved if any of the allocated ARPA funds for these projects remains available before road improvements, reconstruction, those improvements can be charged against the $1,350,000 ARPA authorization.
I'll second that motion.
Great, thank you, guys. So now we'll open this up for discussion. Again, does anyone have any questions for Ryan, who is here? He can come up if anyone has questions for him.
What would be good is just kind of run down the sequence of how it'll happen.
How these projects
How the
are
project will
going to
roll
happen.
out, yeah.
Okay, so, well, I'll just go through how the bids came back. First, we got the bid back for Russell Ave, that was at $755,000. And then we got the bids back the following week for Co Avenue Pump Station, and that one was $630,000. So put them together, we're roughly at 1.4 million and change with no contingency. So we need roughly 1.5, a little over in the bank, which is how we got to the 135 and the 220,000. As soon as I let both companies know that we were short on funding, I needed to go back to the board and told them I'll let them know next week if we could proceed forward with contracts. Kovacs got back to me, and they said they will be available to do this work over the winter, most likely starting after the holidays in January. So we'll get contracts signed, get everything set up. They can start ordering the material they need, come first week of December. And then that project should be a 3-4 month project, so they should be done by the start of the spring. And then Russell Avenue, you need to pave concrete work. Anything with asphalt concrete, it's going to have to wait until April 15th, most likely, to get started. once the plant's open for full-time work. And then they'll get that water line going in the ground on Russell and pave the trench. That road is gonna be completely ripped up afterward and 4 brand new inches of asphalt regraded, 4 new inches of asphalt. Out on Main Street, they're gonna have to repair the trenches with 10 inches of asphalt per DOT's regulations, and then it's gonna have to be milled and paved after. And that pretty much sums that up. We're gonna leave extra valves on Allen Street, on McDonald, because those are both asbestos cement pipes, where Co-Avenue Extension is already a newer cast iron pipe. So we'll leave it so we can continue working on that system down there afterward.
How many bids came in for the projects?
So 5 bids on Russell and 3 bids on the Co-Avenue pump station.
Decent.
Yeah, bids were pretty tight. The second highest bid on Russell was $817,000, the winning bid at $755. And then on Co-Avenue pump station, the winning bid was $629, and the second highest was $647.
Great.
So, pretty tight.
Any other questions for Ryan while he's here?
Not a question, but I'll say that, on water and sewer, this is an issue that we've talked about a lot, and multiple times we've had breaks, down in this area. So this is an area where the infrastructure is much needed, so I'm glad to see this project is gonna be moving forward soon. That'll be a nice, benefit for the, be good to help the residents down there.
What do we have for well, both projects, but Russell Ave, what do we have for a contingency in there once we get into the ground?
So we're gonna have 90,000 total with both of these, the 220,000 and the 1.35, with also the estimates given by our engineer over on Russell were heavy in some spots, and I've gone through and I've found another 60, 70 grand potentially out there that won't be spent on Russell. So I think there's some contingency built into that 755,000 already. So we should be in decent shape. Obviously, in construction, we always hit something unknown, but hopefully we can get these projects in under what's allocated here, and then leave ourselves, some more state grant funding to get more road work done this upcoming year.
No more ledge is what you're saying, right?
No more ledge.
No more ledge.
Yeah, exactly.
Have either one of the vendors? that
There
we-
is 50 yards of ledge built into that Russell Avenue.
There is some ledge.
So, hopefully there isn't 50 yards there. It's part of my calculations there.
Yeah. Have the 2 contractors done work with us before, or it'll be first time for them working in our town?
First time for both.
Good.
Yeah. Burns Construction down on Russell, and then Kovacs Construction for Co-Avenue Pump Station.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Ryan. I want to thank you for all your work on this. It's been a long time coming. I think the allocation of the initial 1.1 million was done almost 2 years ago. It was one of the first items that the previous Board of Selectmen took up. So seeing this come to fruition is a really great thing now. So thank you for getting us to this point. So I think we're ready for the question. All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstention? Motion carries unanimously. Thank you all. Thank you, Ryan. Great. Moving on to refunds of excess payments. There is a hole on this board tonight.
I'll second that.
Would someone like to make the motions?
I'll take that.
All right.
Motion for a refund of excess payment, David G. Lardazone, $229.82.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstention? Motion carries.
Motion for a refund of excess payment, Absolute Air Services LLC, $89.95, $44.76, $87.80, $69.14, $40.93, $47.01, $40.93, $62.94, $62.94, $34.47, $40.93, $29.99, and $34.47.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstention? Motion carries.
Motion for a refund of excess payment, Toyota Lease Trust, $732.85, $323.47, $289.02, $905.96.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstention? Motion carries.
Motion for a refund of excess payment, CCAP Auto Lease Ltd., $687.60, $559.67.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstention? Motion carries.
Motion for a refund of excess payment for Michael R. Egan, $41.06.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstention? Motion carries. Great, thank you. Thank you, Bobby. Thank you, Mike. All right, we'll move on to item 8, which is public comment. Is there anyone in the audience that wishes to comment at this time? Nothing in the chat. Okay, great. So this will conclude the majority of the meeting. We have an executive session right now, so I will, in a moment, I'll entertain a motion to enter executive session for the purpose of strategy on collective bargaining, and I'd like to invite our attorney, Joe McQuaid, who is here with us this evening. And at the conclusion of that executive session, this board will come out of executive session, and there most likely will be an action on the executive session, and that will most likely be the ratification of tentatively agreed collective bargaining agreement with the police union. So you're welcome, for those of you in the audience, you're welcome to stay and be a part of that when the door opens again after executive session, but don't feel obligated to do that. That will be the only item after we come back from executive session. So I will say, if anyone chooses to leave, have a very happy Thanksgiving, and thank you all for coming tonight. So is there a motion to enter executive session?
I make a motion, we enter executive session for the strategy on collective bargaining with our attorney, Jay McQuaid.
And I'll second that
Second.
motion.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right. Thank you all. Take care, everyone. Thank you.
Goodbye, Ralph.
Yes.
Talking person